after May the 6th, whoever the political tone of the government or hung government or whatever it might be in, the reality is that they've made a decision, the three main political parties, that they're going to make working people pay for the price of the collapse of the banking industry. And as a result of that, we all know what happened in the banking industry, which has fallen on from now. They're using it as the recession to say that less numbers are using the underground. And we've got a mayor of London who stood on a campaign keeping booking offices open, keeping frontline services running, and now quite clearly now wants to implement this plan of well over 800 to 1,000 job losses.
I'm going to read this out. This is what Boris Johnson, the petition that Boris Johnson actually signed, and there's all copies of it up there, and please take them away. We, the undersigned, reaffirm our opposition to London Underground's intention to shut 40 ticket offices and also against the cutting of hours. So it's not just about shutting ticket offices, it's about cutting hours as well. And here we have their plans. Every station, every line's included, and the vast majority of them, if they're not closing them, they've got cuts in the hours that the ticket offices are open. So Boris Johnson is a liar, and we've got the photographs to prove it. Quite simple. Boris, the nice guy, the sort of clown, rip that mask away, and we find Boris, the class warrior. He won't put a congestion charge, the extension of the Western congestion charge, on the people that can pay it down in Sloane Square, in Westminster and Chelsea. And that's costing him £100 million a year. But he's got absolutely no problem shutting down the stations and giving people, working class people like yourselves, the boot. That's what Boris really stands for. He's a class fighter, just the way we're class fighters for our class.
All the employers throughout the length of Britain at the moment are purely using the recession because they believe that you people are going to be petrified about doing anything about it because you must keep your heads down and you must keep your job. While there's 10, 12, 13, 100 people queuing up for your job outside, they believe that you're going to knuckle down and actually get on and you're told what to do. They really want you to be just a docile worker who comes to work, gets told what you do. They're your conditions, and you should be lucky that you've got a job. All the conditions that you've won over the last 40 to 50 years, they believe is an opportunity for them to start rolling them back. This is their time to put the boot into working people.
Let's get rid of this idea that there's a ticket office staff. There's no ticket office staff. Their title is Station Assistant Multifunctional. So they go on the barriers and they go on the platforms and they play a part in the evacuation of a station. So let's not get into this trap that the mayor has said, we're calling them ticket office staff. They're multifunctional staff. They play an integral part in the safety of the public.
Those people work their socks off all day long in very difficult conditions. They're the people who evacuate the station when there's an emergency. They're the people who answer questions and give information to passengers all day long. They're the people who sell tickets. They're the people who resolve the oyster problems. They're the people who service the ticket machines, who do a security check of every part of the station every hour of every day. They're the people who reunite passengers with their lost property, their lost friends and their lost children. They're the people who assist drivers and other grades, who make PAs, who help disabled passengers, who update information boards, who are first on a scene for most incidents, who help passengers when they're taken ill, and who help during delays and disruptions. And I think it's an absolute disgrace that London Underground thinks that it can do with 800 fewer of those people working on its stations.
800 jobs. And an overnight assailant like that, 800 jobs. We could never have contemplated it a few years ago. You just think that tomorrow morning there's 800 of your colleagues don't appear. Who's going to do that work? So we'll have safety undermined, we'll have jobs undermined, we will have service to the public undermined. We're in the lead up to the Olympics, for goodness sake. Shouldn't we be investing in the underground? Shouldn't we be welcoming people? I mean, they keep saying, it's only the off-peak times. Well, excuse me, it seems to me that London is actually a tourist city, and tourists don't actually travel in the peak times. They travel all through the day.
I'm just going to read to you from basically this leaflet, which is full of direct quotes from London Underground Maintenance Performance and Strategic Planning Day, which took place in January this year. And the document, it was got hold of by the RMT without management really wanting us to do that. However, there's nothing sinister in it, according to London Underground Management, so no one needs to worry, but I'll let you all make your mind up whether there's anything sinister in their strategic planning day and what they said they want to do. Just briefly, and all of the quotes here, there's lots more, because we couldn't fit them all onto 2 sides of A4. So I'll just read some of the ones we've got here. We have an ageing and entrenched workforce. Agreements made during Metronic's existence with the trade unions need to be got rid of. We need maintenance optimisation, which means work cuts in real terms, and staff number reductions. There's going to be cuts made to fund the Olympics. And then they state quite plainly, we need to plan for large numbers of people to be put into redeployment. This is on the maintenance side of London Underground. They've said it, this has become quite well known now, because I think they're one of the only companies that actually come out and said it outright. The recession helps. Now is the time to make changes.
Well, we was getting older leaked copies of those papers for 4 to 5 months before it became official. And every time we leaked those papers to the press and told them that this means closures of stations, muggers' paradises, and getting back to where it was on British Rail some 20, 25 years ago, we was told that these papers are not being leaked, they're not serious, they're just discussions. The deja vu this morning is when Richard Parry goes on there and said this document ain't really serious. Oh, a 70-odd page document with managers going around, which is called sky blue thinking, basically turn around and say, took them all away, these managers, and said, how would you like to run the railways if you had no trade unions, no agreements? And they basically come back and said, this is how we like it. And basically what they really want is the trade unions to disappear completely. Well, we ain't going to disappear completely. We've been around for 150 years. We'll still be around another 150 years' time. And they can put us in a straitjacket. We're going to fight back, brothers and sisters. Simple as that.
The government has to save money, and Janine's already said how they can save money on London Underground. 200 managers on over 100 grand a year. 2 managers on £250,000. 1 manager on £500,000. Start there, because there's fat in this organisation, but it's all on the top and there's none of it in the bottom. They're going to have a balance sheet. On this side, they're going to have the pluses, how much they can save by cutting all these jobs. On this side, they're going to have the negatives, how much we're going to cost them in strike action and how much they're going to lose in public sympathy. And we've got to make sure that those negatives outweigh those positives. We've got to be ready for the fight. We've all got to be ready for the fight. We're going to go into this fight together, us as an industrial union, supported by every other union that will throw their weight with us, because we invited ASLEF to this meeting today. I don't know why they haven't turned up, but I'll tell you again, I'll put the hand of friendship out to ASLEF. We'll say, fight with us to protect your members. We'll say that to every ASLEF member out there as well. Even if their leadership doesn't get on board, we'll say it to the rank and file of ASLEF.
And we're asking everyone here to not score a march over anyone in the future, that we might be doing this in front of TSSA, and TSSA might be doing it in front of us, and we might be doing this in front of ASLEF. This is too big about scoring points over another organisation. There is only one common enemy out there, and that is the employer on the other side of the table, and the Mayor of London, who intends to try and butcher up this industry and butcher your pay and conditions.
This is not a fight we can lose. It's a fight we've got more than a 50-50 chance of winning. And we've got to go out there today, take those leaflets with us, get the public on our side, convince our workmates, and fight they win.
And therefore, brothers and sisters, it's a pleasure to be here tonight with TSSA, and it's a pleasure that our ballot papers are going to go out together. It's a pleasure our ballot papers are going to come back together. And this time round, let's take action together, if need be, to defend your jobs, your conditions, and the industry you're working.